Well, Josh, clearly, I think the word you used after the last game was it was a flat performance against Southport, and it's been two flat performances. Really, is that fair?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think we wanted a bit of a reaction, I suppose, from the Curzon game going to the Southport game, and we just didn't really get going, did we? I think that's the big thing. We didn't really get our passing game going. I think we got kind of sucked into the way they played. Really, we didn't really press as well as we usually do, and it was just a bit of a lethargic performance, I would say.
Is that down to a bit of fatigue creeping in, or what? To what do you attribute it, really?
Yeah, possibly. I think if you look at the last week or so, we've obviously lost Chief, lost Lloydie, lost Janai, and then obviously guys in that probably not played regular, so that doesn't help. Fitness levels. But I think also if you look at the run we've had some real tough teams in that run, and we've put some really good performances together. And sometimes you just get a mental drop off a little bit, and I think that's probably what you've seen over the last couple of games. So we're in training today, and the spirits are back. And I think probably the last week or so we've been a bit flat in training as well. So like you said, I don't know if there's a bit of obviously we have points targets and you want to hit them and you want to drive on, but I think if you look at our run, it's crazy, isn't it? We have a run of 5 games, it's like the top 5. Then we had a run of another 5 games, it's like 5 to 10. So we haven't had, and obviously anyone could beat anyone at this level, but we haven't had a run of games where you're looking at the bottom end of the table and a consecutive run of games like that. So the lads have just been on it, and you are going to get a drop off it at some point. And I think we just kind of probably found that over the last 2 games.
If you wanted to, have you got the scope to freshen things up a bit? Obviously, the deadline's not far away, is it really? So it would have to be sooner rather than later, I guess.
Not like now. No, I mean, we haven't. We've got what we've got. Like I said, if we're going to look at bringing anything in, it will be working on my contacts and pulling a few favours and cleaning a few cars to make sure we get someone in. So, no, we'll look at it. Obviously, we're light in one area, I would say. So it's an area that we need to look at, and if hopefully we can get something done over the next day or so.
You mentioned run of tough games. York City up next, and obviously they're flying at the moment.
Yes, they're 1-6 on the bounce. Obviously, Mitch has been doing well there. Obviously, we sent him out on loan there, and he's been scoring goals. He's been doing really well. And obviously, one of our old players, Lenny's there as well. So, and obviously, they've got a good experienced manager. He's turned things around there. I think they were really on the slide, weren't they, before he's come in, and he's kind of taken a few players out, brought some in, and now they've been on a good run. They beat Fylde Tuesday night 2-0 away. So it's a really good performance from them and a good win. So yeah, it's another tough game, but I like tough games, and I like the fact that we've probably had 2 average performances, and it's good to go into the next game against a big side doing well. Then we know we're going to have to be on the front foot and concentrating and make sure we turn this little blip around. So I'm looking forward to Saturday.
As regards Mitch Hancock, what's the situation with him? He is there on loan. Is he allowed to play for York on Saturday?
That was my worry after the game the other day. But no, I think it'd be a big miss for them, to be fair. He's been playing in midfield. He's had a bit of a free role in midfield in his sense. He hasn't had to defend. He's just been kind of getting in really good areas. He's been picking up good pockets, and obviously he's got goals from it. So I think it'd be a real big miss for them on Saturday. But no, he's not eligible to play.
Any of the players you mentioned who you've been missing lately for injury in one reason or another, any of those likely to be back in the frame for the weekend?
Obviously, Cushion's suspension's over, so he's back. Lloydie's still, I can't see him being back ready for the weekend, to be honest, which is unfortunate because obviously he's been a big miss for us. So yeah, it is what it is. But that's why we've got a squad of players, and that's why we believe in all of them, to be fair, and they've all been absolutely fantastic this season. So we just got to, now you get your opportunity, you've got to take it, and that's what we'll be looking to do for the lads that come in to take the place of the lads that have gone out. They've got to keep the shirt now. Obviously, Yaz has been struggling as well. He'd come off the other day, so we might be in that situation as well. Jad Oshka's our captain, so and if it means Dinesh plays, then obviously Dinesh has got a great opportunity.
You've done so well to get into the playoff places. I know York went back above you last night technically, but you've done so well to get there. I mean, I'm sure the message is, or the feeling around the squad must be, we don't want to let it go now.
No, of course not. And like I said before, like it's fantastic that we're having these conversations. It's fantastic that we've been in the playoff mix, and you probably win the last two games. You're sitting fourth, aren't you? So, or you're a couple of points off fourth. So it's fantastic we're having these conversations. We'll get to see. I think the big thing for us now is from now to the end of the season, we'll get to see what we need to sustain a playoff push. So if we do it, then we know we don't really need anything. If we don't, then we'll know what we need going into next season to really cement a place in those playoff places, and teams talk about us pushing on and trying to win the league. So, it's going to be interesting last 13 games. But, I do believe in this squad, and I believe we've got enough to do it. We've obviously, looking at points targets, we kind of roughly know what we need to get in and amongst the playoffs. So, we've got 13 games to do it. So it's in our hands. I know teams have got games in hand over us, and we're just not quite in the playoffs yet. But for me, it's in our hands. So we've got games coming up that are very winnable games. And if we do what we can do, then I think it's going to be a good end to the season.
And last one from me. You've spoken in previous press conferences about your desire, if you like, to get the core of the side nailed down for next season, because obviously you don't want to be rebuilding the squad not from scratch, but from a low base again. Have you been able to speak to the board on that? Is there any movement on that?
Yeah, we had a board meeting on. Oh, my days mixed up. I think it's Wednesday. What day are we today? Thursday. So I had a board meeting. This is how my mind goes. We had a board meeting on. Actually, sorry, it was Monday. We had a board meeting Monday regarding the budget. I put my proposals forward. So the board are obviously going to take that into consideration and have a look. I've expressed my desire to keep, good core of the squad together. I think it's important. So obviously, that being said, we need to kind of move to get some agreement. I know it's hard for the board, obviously, because you never know. The last 2 years have been absolutely crazy, haven't they, with restrictions and all that stuff. So, and obviously, I think we've had car restrictions last year, and then this year, for whatever reasons, we've not had the attendances we've had. So it's going to be a tough job for them to come up with a budget for us. I know we've got some initiatives going on. Well, we're going to have some initiatives coming out very soon to see if we can get me as much money as possible for the budget next year. But, for me, I spoke to the board, and the big thing for me was improving. And, we improved from the first year I come in. We got safe. Then last year, it was about getting into the top half. We did that. And then this year, it's about improving on last year. So next year, we want to improve again. So that takes finances, I suppose. So we'll see what we've got. But what I would say is, hey, if the budget is less next year, I'm not saying it's going to be, but we'll adapt, we'll evolve, we'll keep the lads that we can. And then we'll be shrewd in the transfer market like we have been, and get the right players in to have a push again next year.
That's great, Josh. Thanks very much for your time.
No problem.